I'm meteorologist Chris Potter, and this is your national weather forecast for Friday, January 23rd, brought to you by Arctic Air. Polar vortex, full effect right now. This tends to be the coldest time period of winter, late January into early February. Mother Nature is following that calendar. Cold air continues to migrate southward, moving towards the Gulf of Mexico. You might have heard of this allowing a potential storm. And by potential, I mean a guarantee. The states will see a lot of that potential. It looks like, I would say, 160 million people currently under winter weather advisories south of the border. And we're going to see at least some snowfall warnings eventually be posted across southern Ontario. But for now, it's all about the cold. Dangerous wind chills across the prairies in northern Ontario. Minus 40 to minus 50 wind chills expected. That's very dangerous. Frostbite in minutes. Similar story in all other warned areas. And this warning might actually extend into Atlantic Canada, primarily across New Brunswick as we get into the weekend. Well below normal temperature-wise from almost coast to coast. The exception, the Pacific, the Atlantic, more seasonable values. In terms of active weather, fairly quiet across the BC coast. Through interior BC as well, still dealing with that ridge of high pressure. A little bit of snow across western Alberta. Bright but cold across the prairies, lake effect snow across the Great Lakes, and sea effect snow out east. We'll talk about what's happening across BC. As I mentioned, it is fairly quiet. The exception, of course, that low-level cloud and fog across the Strait of Georgia. That's going to be the story Friday and possibly Saturday. Once we get into Sunday late day, we start to see some active weather move in. Not for the south coast, not for the lower Maine, but we will see it across the central and north coast. At this point, it does not look like it migrates south. It's really not until Wednesday and Thursday of next week, Vancouver, that you have a chance for rain with some alpine snow. Overall, temperatures will be fairly seasonable across the west, across British Columbia, especially across the lower Maine. It looks like mid-single-digit highs, which is on par with where we should be for this time of year. Once we get through the prairies, once again, it's really the story about cold, especially Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Hey, it will look bright and beautiful from inside. You open the door, then that's the harsh reality sitting through. Alberta, you're going to deal with a little bit of snowfall that develops and across the foothills, across the higher elevations, right by the Rocky Mountains. This is going to be very isolated through the day, and it will basically lead to around 3 to 5 centimeters, most of which will fall Friday night and through the day on Saturday. In terms of the conditions, though, it's all driven by the cold. This is a look at the wind chill forecast. Minus 40s in a lot of areas, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Less cold, but still cold enough across the western prairies, across Alberta. Further to the north, very similar setup. I mean, this is, the coldest air we've seen of the season, and probably, when it's all said and done, the coldest air in about 10 years for a lot of areas, so almost a decade. Lake effect snow once again, snow squalls, reduced visibilities, whiteouts because the gusty westerly winds continue, and the winds will kind of move a little bit more from the northwest as we get through the later stages of the day. So some of that lake effect snow will migrate south. Then we get into a different form of lake effect snow across the Lake Ontario shoreline thanks to an easterly wind carrying noticeably colder Arctic air across. So that will produce some lake effect snow out ahead of the system itself. And then the enhancement continues through much of the day on Sunday right along Lake Ontario. This is going to be the hardest hit area with that snowfall across areas across the Great Lakes. In Atlantic Canada, you're going to see your snow as well. It basically starts to move in late Sunday evening, continues through the day on Monday. It's time to start thinking about a potential snow day, not only even across southern Ontario, eastern Ontario, southern Quebec, and especially Atlantic Canada, because you're going to continue to see that active weather move through. Snowfall amounts will be, I would say, 15 to 25 centimeters very easily across the lower Great Lakes. The GTA could see an excess of 25 centimeters, and Atlantic Canada, you're going to see a bulk of snowfall move through as well with cold conditions.